can consider that the situation of 2022 is quite different of the situation, a similar analysis done in 2010. And why I say that is because we are now in front of a global situation, that this is the pandemic. And there are some things that we are estimated without an empirical result. That means we are working with expectations for the companies that have some uncertainties in relation with the result. Let's start considering 3 or 4 big elements. And I should say that this is in agreement with the World Economic Forum or Global Risk Report, and is in agreement with several predictions or analysis done not for astrologists, but for technical people that is trying to analyze what could happen in the future. And we have, let's say, in first is the potential risk derivative for environmental. We have possibilities of climate change and climate actions to be done soon. The society impact, let's say, impact in the cohesion of societies, etc. And for that, we have several situations. It's very evident, for example, in Latin America, that people that have right governments is desiring to go to the left. People that have less government is deciding to go to the right. The people is confused. From the political corruption to the result of the political actions, unity, relation between parties, etc. And this could be affecting society more in the future. The companies were discovering and going quickly with the possibility to work with a virtual job. That was expected in 10 years and happening too. And most probably, we will need to readapt to that. That will be important for the employees to come back and to have the correct approach with the company after the pandemic, and for the managers to try to manage the relationship inside the company and to lead the employees to have a correct approach. Let's say that the other impact is the mental health deterioration. The normal work will come back, but will not be exactly the same than before, and will be an approach, and when it's not necessary to travel, will not travel. It's not travel every week, it's maybe travel every month or every 2 months, or things like that. Technological increase generate another thing that we should work hard, that is the hackers and the crime related with cybersecurity. That will be important to have an insurance policy, will be important to have a strong cybersecurity department to transfer risk to insurers through policies, and to work hard to avoid that the technological crime could affect seriously our companies. There are other things that are expected to have a problem in the near future. And this situation is related with the digital inequality. We could have, and we already have, in the last years, in the last 2 years, no, with the pandemic, serious situation with education. And the last one is related with economic. Some countries that were in the limits start to have serious problem to pay their debts, and if they don't pay the debts, they lose the financial credit for their activities, and most probably this could have on that countries an impact of more poverty. And that, when I talk about countries, I talk also about companies that they start to issue money to pay debts of them. Not only debts, to pay the doctors, to pay the nurses, additional job of the people, security, etc. All that countries have a growth of inflation. United States too. United States have 7% inflation. That is the biggest in many, many years. Could not be compared with the inflation of Argentina, 50%, but 7% for United States is something catastrophic. And that was because the government provide loans, etc., for small companies, trying to avoid that these small companies stop to produce. And now they are doing some kind of ways to finance in a long period, or directly to forget the debit or this debit with the government. Then debt crisis could be a problem, and also we can have an impact in asset values. Why I say that? Because after this period, many companies, small companies, will stop to produce, and we need time and capital to come back. And these many companies were competitors of big companies, and maybe we can have, we need to analyze, an impact in the values of the products, because companies will have less people that provide machinery, raw material, etc. And that bring us to the supply chain that every country will be affected in the same way. And maybe we will have countries far away that will have serious problems to come back, but they were providing raw material to Portugal, Brazil, France, Italy, and these countries, these companies will need to try to find alternatives to produce their products. And that will be a turbulent market related also with that. Now we will have situations inside the companies immediately. I mentioned the people will come back, the leaders inside the companies will need to readapt to the new situation with the employees. To adapt, for example, it's possible that something that was done in the past now will not be the same because the technology in a way was affected, and the technology went ahead with virtual way of working, etc. The companies could have a problem of supply chains, as we talked before. They will need to check if the companies that were the provided raw material will have the same capacity in timing and in quality and in quantity of providing them raw material to then produce the final products and go to the market, local or international, and that will be, in a way, a challenge. The other thing, and I think that this is something that we start to see, is that some companies start to have, let's say, a situation where they lose clients because it was not time for the marketing or for the commercial people to go to the market, and eventually in some parts they lose the client. In some other parts, the situation is a little bit the lack of maintenance. That means during 2 years, the factory were stopped or were working 30, 40, 50, 60% of their capacity. And during all this period, the smoke detectors, the sprinklers for fire detection, all of that was without being checking. And it was not a problem because it was more or less in this way for all this long period. We will need to see all related with health, and the insurance policies should be very well managed, very well done, working to avoid what could happen when the people come back to work full time and found different machines, different market, different situation, maybe new machineries with other technology. All of that is in front of us in the near future.